Hey, my friends, it's Denise Walsh here, clinical psychologist turned dream life coach. And today we are going to talk about the science behind self-sabotaging. In fact, I have a quiz. There we go. Sorry. I actually have a quiz that I'm going to give you at the end that I want you to take that will help you identify which saboteur you are experiencing the most. So before we dive into the science, I'd love to hear where you're from, what your goals are, if there's a specific time in your life or a specific goal that you have that you keep sabotaging, that you keep kind of snapping back to what I deem as normal, and you want to finally kick it to the curb and follow through with where you want to go. If you have a story, share with me in the comments below. I want to hear it. But before we dive in, let's talk a bit about what sabotage is. So self-sabotage basically is when you say you want something, but then you're not doing the appropriate action to actually get there. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm looking in my groups just to be sure that it is all going through. So basically it's like you're saying you want something, but in your heart of hearts, you're going, yeah, right. And you're starting and stopping. You are second guessing yourself. When you get to the end of your comfort zone, you are like, get me out of here. And you snap back to what your body deems comfortable. And the reality is, you guys, is you could say all the things, right? You can say you've got goals. You can tell yourself all the affirmations. But if your subconscious does not believe or understand that it's possible for you, then you will forever be self-sabotaging and getting in your own way. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to not just say it. We want to actually become the person who hits the goals that you have for yourself. And there's a few reasons and why we self-sabotage, including our subconscious behavior, meaning like our subconscious expectations. It's like our set point. It's what our body, our nervous system is familiar with. This is why you'll see people who've experienced abuse in their past go from abusive relationship to abusive relationship to abusive relationship, because it's like what their nervous system, unfortunately, is used to. So even if they don't like it, the nervous system is trying to figure out what the tribe is doing. It says, oh, yep, this is normal to be in a relationship where somebody's condescending. Oh, this is normal. Oh, this feels safe, even though it's not safe. It's just what the nervous system expects. Okay. So subconscious expectation in our nervous system is step one. But then we've got our inner critic. We've got the self-talk that we want to evaluate and identify. Is it being true, or is it taking us in a direction that we don't want it to go? Self-talk in this inner critic truly is our automatic thinking. And I liken it to like gutter balls, right? In bowling, where when life happens, a situation happens, our emotions increase, our thoughts can take us in a direction, and they can either automatically start saying it's not going to work, life sucks, it's not fair. Like they could take us down a rabbit hole of not being helpful, of criticizing ourselves and our world, telling ourselves we're not good enough, we'll never be good enough, right? Or our thoughts can take us in a direction where we can say something like, this is a learning curve. This is new. Of course it's scary. Like the way that we talk to ourselves impacts how we move through these upsets when they happen in life. And so we've got our subconscious expectations. We've got our self-talk. The third thing that impacts our self-sabotage is our stress level. So think about this. If you are at a stress level of 8, 9, or 10 all the time, then it doesn't take much for you to blow. And when we are filled with this chronic stress, our body's in what's called fight or flight mode. It moves from our brain, like blood moves from our brain and our stomach to our limbs, so we can run away fast back in the olden days. And so our blood is not in our brain. We are not thinking as clearly. Our food is not digesting as well. And in this fight or flight mode, with our heart racing, our thoughts racing, we are making the simplest decision, not the most helpful. So, in this state of being, we are making the decision that feels good in the moment. It's a short term decision versus a long term decision. So, if self sabotage is connected to our subconscious expectations, our self talk, and our stress level, there's a few things that we want to do to counteract that, to get our body out of fight or flight mode and into rest and digest. So we bring our blood back into our brain and we slow our heart rate down, and we're able to think long term versus the short term situation that oftentimes is not the decision that's going to help us reach our goals, right? Because oftentimes the short term is eating the brownie, is skipping the workout, is watching Netflix. It's the easy thing. It's not the hard thing that we need to do in order to grow our comfort zone, to grow new skills, and to create new habits. So let's talk a bit about how to get out of fight or flight mode and into rest and digest. And there's a few things that I want to share with you that I think will help you do that super quickly. The first one is to put your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And we want to do this several times a day. Because remember, our body's norm sometimes is chronic stress. Our body's norm is to be in freak out mode. And what we want to do is train it to be in rest and digest instead. We want to train it we want it to know that it's safe. We want it to know that it's okay. We want it to know that we've got this. We want it to know that we're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, right? That we're okay, that we're going to be okay, that all of this is fine. And so physically teaching our body that it doesn't need to be in freak out mode, deep breathing and putting our hand on our heart is one strategic way to do that. It's called, if you go to heart math, you'll find that our heart actually has brain cells. And so when you tell your heart that it's safe, it connects to your brain and it tells your brain that it's safe, and it slows everything down. So I recommend doing this consistently throughout the day. So of course, one would be a morning routine, during your journaling time. Take a few deep breaths, slow yourself down. This is in the meditation section of the Dream Life Journal, where it's time to listen, where we just slow ourselves down, take a few deep breaths, meditate, relax, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that will help. You can also do this in the car. Obviously, don't close your eyes, but you can take deep breaths in the car. That can be a cue for you to slow yourself down, especially if we're late, right? That's just going to get cortisol up, but we want to get our body back into rest and digest. Just think of cues throughout the day. When you're making dinner, maybe do it. When it's bedtime routine, maybe do it. Like, do it a few times so your body gets to a place where it goes, okay, I don't need to be freaking out anymore. Everything is going to always be okay. The second thing that I want to recommend is this morning routine journaling time. We want to brain dump all of these stinking thinking monkey mind thoughts out of our head and onto paper. Truly just brain dump. Like, what are you up to today? How are you feeling? Where is life going? Like, you want to get it out of your head. There's a sense of taking it out of your head and into, like, in front of you, so you can process it, so you can connect with it, so you can decide if it's true, so you can take your thoughts and be like, is this helpful? No, it's not. Okay, let's choose a better thought. Like, we get to decide what we're thinking. And after you gain a bit of control over your thought life, you're going to see how it impacts your body and how that impacts your self-sabotaging behavior. The third thing that I'll recommend in terms of overcoming perfectionism, people pleasing, black and white thinking, or your inner critic is to focus on what you want more than you focus on the fear. And so in Dream Life Coaching, we do a lot of activities and exercises based on this to help your dreams become bigger than the fear. Because as you're going towards your goals, you are going to be learning something new. you are going to be outside your comfort zone. You are going to be like bumping up against this stress where your body goes, "Oop, I don't know about this. This is new and different. Let's shrink back to what our body deems normal." And what we want to do is we want to make that dream on the other side of that comfort zone way bigger and more enticing than the fear that is going to pop up along the way. And so when we understand that it's going to pop up, it's just a part of life, we don't have to take it seriously. We don't have to actually listen to that fear. We can decide it's not true. We can decide it's not helpful. We can decide to do it anyway. And so we want that dream to feel exciting, to feel believable. We want it to feel like it's something that you absolutely can accomplish. We want it to feel connected to you, and we want you to see yourself doing it. I call it seeing yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are now. And as that dream grows, when the fear pops up, you're going to be more apt to be able to step through it rather than allowing it to shrink you back. So I hope that was helpful. There was a quick fire hose of why we self-sabotage in a few ways to get yourself out of fight or flight mode and into rest and digest. But if you're interested and curious in knowing what your main saboteur is, I just created a quiz and I'd love for you to take it. And let me go ahead and grab you the link. It's freebie.90dayuturn.com. I'll post it in the comments here. Grab it, and it's going to on a 10-question quiz that's going to help you to assess if you are being a perfectionist, an inner critic, a black and white thinker, or a people pleaser, and what you can do once you identify your main saboteur. So take that free quiz. Let me know your comments or your thought, what your main saboteur is in the comments, and we'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Have an awesome day.